And good afternoon and welcome to Grumpy Bodge Wizard. Alrighty, I've a cup of tea, I've a GoPro, it's time to do shit. Alright, here's the story. I'm going off on a trip in a couple of months on two wheels with Rainbow along with him, and I'm going to try and use this GPS again. This is the BMW Navigator 5. I bought it several years ago now, along with the GS that I had for a while. And the GS had a cradle for it, and that was grand. And the RS didn't have a cradle for it, and that wasn't grand. And so I bodged together this, which has RAM mounts on the back, and that connected to the RS accessory power socket. Of course, with the KTM, that's not going to work either. So I'm doing two things with this. I'm mostly leaving this alone. Two things with this. I'll see if I can power it off of a 12 volt socket, because the KTM doesn't have a BMW accessory socket, and I'm going to not use RAM mounts. I don't like how wobbly or insecure they are. I'm going to try and see if I can use quad lock. So I've been using quad lock a good bit on the bike. I use it for the phone down near the handlebars. It is solid as a rock, doesn't mess about, has enough give in it that it's not going to wobble around. It wobbles around just the right amount. So quad lock's pretty cool. I'm going to see if I can get this compatible with quad lock and also compatible with a 12 volt socket. And so here is the basic plan. I'm going to snip this off. I'm going to check out the cabling internally, and I'm going to stick a 12 volt power plug onto it. I've done a bit of research and I'll go through that in a second. So that's the first thing I'm going to try to do. If that doesn't work, I'm going to just snip it off and use this as a cradle. The cool thing about this cradle is that these buttons, the zoom in and zoom out and menu and brightness buttons, they actually work if the cradle has no power. Like if I stick the GPS in there right now, these buttons will work. So that's pretty good. It's better than nothing. You know, it's better than a stock kind of a cradle, and so even if that's the only thing that I have, then that'll be not too bad. The annoying thing about that setup though is that when I have the GPS mounted in there, there's actually no way of charging it. There's a charging port, but it's actually covered by the back of the cradle, which is pretty annoying, but there you go. Swings and roundabouts. So hopefully I'm going to get this charging up. The second thing I'm going to do is I have the Garmin, this was like goes onto the back of your Garmin RAM mount attachment, and I had the little legs and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to whip this off, and I'm going to see if there's enough clearance to just stick one of these adapters onto the back, maybe that way, and that's all good. Otherwise, if I have to, you know, have the clearance, I'll stick a bit of acrylic on the back and I'll go through what I'm doing there. So that's the basics. Let's get going. Alrighty, that's the quad lock mounty thing that goes on the back of your phone or the back of anything like that, held on by our good friends at Michigan Mining and Manufacturing, and it sticks right on the back there. I was thinking of blocking up these little 4 holes, but I actually think they'll be grand. They're behind the GPS. Actually, when the GPS is off, it might leak water through it. Okay, I'm going to block up these holes with something, but generally what's going to happen is that'll just stick on the back there, happy out. Now all I have to do is be a technical leper with wiring. Okay, so to fill these up, first thing I always go to is fucking, where is it? Silicone gun, but no, let's not. I'm going to try something a little more suitable, which is this stuff. So this is Sugru. It's a moldable glue, so you just take it out and squidge it in your fingers and stick it in, and it's actually a glue and a filler and a whole load of stuff. It's cool, it's made in Ireland, it's all good. So there you go. Okay, that's the mounting looked after. I'm going to stick that on last just because. Next up we have the wiring. Now, based off of research I did last time and recently, there are 2 plugs that come out of this cable, or come out of this cradle. There is a BMW accessory plug, which has like 3 things inside it and that kind of thing. And there's I've heard various things about what this is. It's either goes to the ECU or it goes to the audio system if you have an audio system. But it's not used on the RS, and it's certainly not used in my current bike. So this is surplus. This has to go. This is there's no real name on this. It's BMW proprietary. I don't know. I haven't been able to find a pinout for it. I have found a number of guides online and forum posts and all that saying there's 3 wires, and one of them is earth, and one of them's live off the battery switched but to the ignition, and the other one is switched to the ignition but stays on for 30 seconds afterwards. And there's 3 wires, and I was told there was like a brown wire and a two-tone wires and etc. And of course there you go, you got black, red and purple. And so I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that black and red are live and neutral. Purple, people sort of think it's also a switched live, but people have put it up to a voltmeter and looked at it and gone, that's not quite 12 volts, it's just under, and sometimes it varies. And one of the theories is that it's actually a pulse. It's for the speedo. So if you have the full whack of accessories and shit on your BMW, the GPS can tell how fast your bike is going and a load of diagnostic stuff and etc. So I actually think it's a speedo thing. That's my theory, such as it is, and that even though it might look like, if you stick it on a voltmeter, 12 volt switched, it's actually a pulse. So it's actually alternating on and on, which is probably not great. So I don't really want to take any chances. So what I'm going to do, and I don't have all the bits at the moment, but I'm going to take, of course, the minute you go looking for a random stupid shitty cigarette lighter adapter to something, you can't fucking find one. So I've had to actually order one, like a cigarette lighter outlet for a $5. It's funny, I have this, which is for the Optimate, which would actually, that's a socket, never mind. I have stuff I could cannibalize that I don't want to cannibalize, so I'm actually buying a thing for like £4. Ideally want to get a plug that has a built-in fuse, just because I don't know how much protection this has. This appears to take 12 volts directly, in that there is something in there that is doing the DC step down. A lot of the Garmin's that you can buy the accessory socket for it, but how you get it from 12 volts down to 5 volts, you're kind of on your own. So this definitely takes 12 volts. This is surplus to requirements, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually snip it here and just get rid of this whole thing, strip out the wires a bit and see where I connect it to the other side of the thing when I get it. Okay, moment of truth, here's my big ignorant snips, and boom. Right, this thing is now useless. Alright, I'm going to strip out these wires and I won't bore you with the details, and we'll see what wires we got here. And we have the purple wire, and we have, let me just strip these off a bit. So we've a sort of a foil insulation around these wires. There is your, there we go. There's purple, there's brown and white, of course. They change fucking colour, fantastic. There is black and red. Right, let me have a look. Yeah, so there we go. Brown and white went to the, brown and white went to the stupid other thing. Won't be needing those. Purple, I think, is separate. And then here we got the main event. We got red and black. So I think if I hook these up to 12 volts that I will get business. So let's do that. Okay, now that we have this just so, it's time for the other end. So you can take basically anything that has a cigarette lighter end on it and cannibalize it. I happened to go and buy something. This cost all of £3 or £4. I got it because it has a built-in fuse and on-off switch. You don't have to be that fancy and splash out with your £3, but there you go. Also comes with a shit ton of free cable, so I'm gonna snip off most of this and then put ends on the wires and get ready to solder them. Alright, I like to do my soldering on cheat mode with the helping hands. Fuck you. So it's a lot easier this way, and therefore that's the way I'm going to do it. Alright, check out my soldering skills. Pretty shite. No, actually, not too bad, right. I might go back and heat shrink this properly, and then again, I might not. So, alright, so let's see if that actually works at all. Okay, moment of truth. Here's my fucking dodgy Halford's jump starty kit, which has a 12-volt socket on it. So let's give it a whirl and the pushy button. Oh, and it's turning on and it's charging. Look at that shit. Okay, that is promising. Looks like guessing at red and black being the ones that you want was the right job. So I'm going to clean this up and get it on the bike and see if it works. Okay, last thing, we throw that thingo on it. So it'll go on the bike like so. So I want it pretty much smack bang in the middle. Get it on. Okay, and then I will use the fucking finest and most expensive, no expense spared in coatings technology to blend these white bits in with the rest. Coating technology. Alright, that looks shite, but it's better than being bright fucking white, so there you go. Alright, let's lash it onto the bike and see how she looks. See if we can do it one-handed. There we go. Okay, change plan. This thing won't stick to the back of this because it's not completely smooth. This was my clue, is that it wants it to completely free it of grease and do all the shit. So I'm actually whipping that off the back of it, and I'm gonna use my old trusty faithful now in a second. I'll show you. Alright, here we go. Fucking Lidl's finest plastic glue. The fucking glue sniffer's choice. Right. I'm just going to lash that on there. And, hang on, I'm going to do this. Application. Acetone, Busey. Yeah, no, let's not fuck around with this stuff. Probably overkill if you know your glues, but I don't know my fucking glues. I just know I like the skin of my hands. So, probably should open the door and stick a fan on, but what can you do? I mean, you could do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just fucking go about my business with quickness. Oh, that smells great. Remember they used to give you this just to fucking make little Airfix models, and you were sitting there tripping fucking balls as a young lad. Fucking, oh yeah, I'm making a Messerschmitt. Right. Put that away before I get impure thoughts. Lash that on there. Maybe even fucking clamp it. Yeah, I got clamps. Let me fucking use the clamps. Clamps. I just like using things because I have them. The clamps. Get on there. Speaking of overkill. Right, I'm just gonna fucking... yeah, just gonna leave that there for a bit and go inside and have a cup of tea before the fumes kill me. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, well, that's fucked. It's clearly not going to stick on. It wants it to be completely flat, and I even tried some plastic glue and it didn't work. So I'm going to go back to the old drawing board and have another little think. Alright, think concluded. What I'm going to do is going to take this and fuck it in the bin, and I'm going to be thankful that Quadlock fucked up the shipping and I happened to get 2 of these for nothing, or 1 for nothing. I'm going to put things back the way they were, except instead of this this thing, I happen to have a sheet of Perspex sitting around for some other project, and I'm going to basically put a Perspex blanket plate on the back of this, hooked on with these 4 screws, and then I'll stick the yoke onto that. So here we go. Straight as a fucking die, look at that. Right, wasn't using that. There we go. Made up a little yoke, laid the 2 things. It was a good thing I had this to use as a template, so I just dropped it on, dropped the other thing on, and bodged the fuck out of a little plate. So I'm going to see if it actually fits now. Alright, take the covering plastic off. I'm pretty sure I've gotten this right, so, but only pretty sure. Come off, you bastard. There you go. It's not often you get to peel the plastic off something you made. Like, I could just as easily be going, look at this thing, I paid fucking 30 quid on Nippy Normans for it. Satisfying. Right, I'll tighten those up later, but they seem to go on delightfully. Alright, just tightening this up. These are what is it, T20. So bodge, starts to mean to continue. I didn't bother getting any sockets out. Alright, I'm gonna leave that for an hour, and if it's not stuck on when I get back, the whole thing is getting fucked in the bin. Alright, that's the mount there. Let's see if this thing goes on. Here it is there, with the little bodge. And alright, that's locked in. That's not going anywhere, and actually there's a bit of give in it as well. So let's see if this is happy. Alright, then we have clean that up later, and we will do a little push button. Alright, I'm not sure if I like the red light or the ability to push buttons, but you can swap those plugs in and out a bit. And there we are, charging up. You can't see it very well because the light's there, but there it is, charging up. Let me see, I'll lock the steering both ways and see how it is. Okay, that's not great, but it's actually not tipping off, so that's grand. But the other way, just about. Okay, it's probably fine for the moment. Grand to be getting on with. And then I turn the ignition off. Okay, there's something to bear in mind. It appears the cigarette lighter socket stays on even when the ignition is off. So I'm gonna make sure to turn it off when I need to, or just plug it out, or I would anyway, but just FYI. Okay, let me clean this up a bit and we'll look at it improperly. Alright, that's wrapped around a couple of times and it's nicely cleaned up, or it's not nicely cleaned up, but this is a bodge after all, and then it just goes on handy enough. I will get used to these things. There we go, it's on. And that's grand. Lots of give in it, not going anywhere, not blocking anything, and on and off as you like. So there you go. Successfully bodged. I don't have to feck this thing out. Successful in my continued quest to never have to feck this GPS out ever. Alright, see you again. Next time I might actually ride a bike. See you then.